Hey, what's up everybody? This is Jose from Southern Life. On today's video, we're gonna do the Florida Man Olympics. Yeah, these are the people that have really made the news in the last year. We're gonna look at the 10 most insane Florida man stories. If you don't know what a Florida man story is, for some reason, Florida produces the finest specimen of wild stories in the entire world, are homebred and created right here in the Sunshine State. So after so much research, we found the 10 most shocking, strange, and bizarre stories that came out of Florida in the year 2021. All these Florida men are innocent until proven guilty. No association disclaimer, personal opinion disclaimer. Let's get into this video. Number 10 comes directly from Marion County, the area of Ocala. Is a beautiful story about a young woman who decided to walk into a restaurant completely unclothed and start to throw everything off the bar into the floor and destroy the restaurant. There's people in the background eating like this gentleman here who just decided, let me just grab my camera and record this. Casually continues to eat his dinner. Of course, the Marion County Sheriff's Office had to show up and take care of this little situation. Ocala is a fine producer of some of the best Florida man stories in the entire state. Do not discard Marion County. You're going to notice on this list that there's a few cities like Naples, Ocala, Pasco County, Broward County, in the Orlando area, of course the city of Hialeah, that are the motherlode of Florida man stories where these cases originate. These are the Florida man towns, and Ocala definitely is a top 10 contender for Florida man. In this case, Florida women will not be left behind on these lists. Numero 9, coming straight from the streets of Hialeah, a Hialeah man had a go-fast boat loaded down with fuel, goodies. It was very clear that this loaded down boat with gasoline was heading to Cuba to pick up La Familia Acere. People in Hialeah cheered as he left towards the Florida Keys, which by the way is infested with police everywhere. Blatantly, the truck was overloaded to the point where the police was able to notice there is something conspicuous about the Tundra, the Toyota truck that was hauling a boat that was obviously very heavy. They were able to make an arrest. Ironically, despite how blatantly dumb this criminal act was, the fact that he was caught before he did it means that there was no evidence of exactly what he was going to do. So even though they got caught, it is quite obvious what the intentions were. The criminal charges that will most likely stick here will just be the large illegal amount of fuel that he had on board. So while being stupid, it was still pretty dang genius. We know this happens all the time in Florida, but to actually see the face behind it. Number 8, contender for Florida Man of the Year. In the dirty streets of the Old Town, Orlando, Florida, comes a story that is bizarre, wild, and yet whale poop in all that it is. There's not much to the story, and that's what makes it a great Florida man story. Fine specimen of a human being is from Enterprise. I'm going to guess that's Enterprise, Alabama. Ironically, many of these Florida man stories are actually people from other states. We slapped Florida man on them. In this particular bizarre case, this individual decided that it would be a good idea to put his roommate's pet snake in acid. The evidence was there, a snake. Very sad story coming straight out of the Central Florida region. Have you ever had a bad roommate story? Please share it with us in the comments. The article mentions that this gentleman was very abusive, controlling, and while the roommate was able to escape with her kittens, her snake was not as lucky. He was actually vile enough to send her photos of the animal to let her know how Florida man he was. Even though he's from Enterprise. Probably Enterprise, Alabama, I'm gonna guess. Unless there's some other Enterprise out there. Number 7 takes us to Broward County, Florida, where a man boards an airplane on his way to the capital. Florida man wearing a red thong as a mask is kicked off a plane. Yes, he was headed to the capital of the United States, and he was going to have to wear a mask on his airplane. He decided, you know what? I'm not gonna wear a mask, I'm gonna wear a thong. The people on the plane were like, hold on, buddy, that's not a mask. He says, hey, I do this all the time. All it is a piece of cloth to cover your face. Should it really matter if it's a thong or it's a mask or it's a piece of fabric? What difference does it make? My face is covered. Of course, the people attending the flight were like, no, sir. And they got him off the flight. Of course, he was just trying to make a statement, and this is not the first time he's done it. He's just doing it to get attention. And it raises a good question of how effective masks really are and how effective a thong really is. Number 6 brings us to Melbourne, Florida. At least the gentleman on the airplane had the courtesy to wear a thong. This gentleman out of Melbourne, Florida, wouldn't give his neighbor the courtesy to at least wear a thong. Now, he was arrested for stealing a car completely in the nude. According to his neighbors, they're absolutely used to this guy not wearing anything at all. In fact, it is a common thing for this gentleman to be seen wearing absolutely nothing. Of course, the sheriff's office came out and arrested him, where he stole a vehicle at 7 in the morning. This is not like he drank and then later on in the day he decided, no, this is at 7 in the morning he decides to go carjack a car from a dealership. By the way, it wasn't even the dealership's car, it was a customer's car. Regardless, he jacked the car GTA style while wearing absolutely nothing. Apparently drove it to his neighborhood, where the neighbors were like, yeah, it's kind of what he does for a living. Allegedly, it is not his first time being arrested with nothing on. This Florida man has been trying consistently for the Florida Man Olympics, and he has made the top 10 list today. Neighbors on his street say that he was just arrested last month for a particular crime of exposing himself. This is a habitual offender. He habitually offends people. Number 5 takes us to Naples, Florida. One of the most bizarre cases that I have seen this year comes out of good old Naples, Florida. A Golden Gate Estates man faces a murder charge after a body was discovered in his shallow grave in his backyard. Florida man charged with murder after missing person's body found in his backyard. All that sounds like something you would hear on the news. But what makes this case unique is the details that emerge later on. According to the arrest reports, he shot his friend. He confessed to shooting him because he caught him beating off to his friend's girlfriend's underwear. So apparently they were friends. He had his friend over, and his friend was doing something gross on his friend's underwear. He caught him, and he decided it was time for his friend to pay the maximum penalty. This is a really sad case, and I'm not trying to poke fun at it, but it's really a really serious situation. I mean, one person dead, another one going to prison for a very long time. It's actually a really sad case. I'm not trying to poke fun at it, but it is definitely bizarre and peculiar coming out of Naples, Florida. Undoubtedly one of the strangest cases I have ever seen happen in Florida, and it goes to show how something small can really escalate into a much bigger problem, and if we all look back on the situation, we could have probably made smarter choices. Jealousy is definitely not something you want to play with, and you should always be respectful of other people because you do not know how other people will react when you're not respectful towards them. It's a very sad case that just highlights how much importance we need to place on respecting other people. This case does not surprise me in one bit. I am from Naples, Florida, and people here are so disrespectful, inconsiderate to other people, and they feel that they can disrespect other people and that there will be no consequences for it. And a lot of people here are consistently disrespectful, and they feel that they're never going to have to pay the consequences for it. However, one day, you're going to meet a real one who's going to go 100% and make you account for your actions. Number 4 is also in Naples, Florida, in somewhat of the same type of nature. There seems to be a lot of really creepy people in Naples, Florida, and not enough people willing to get rid of them. In this case, a gentleman who apparently, when you read the story, it seems like he could have scored with this lady, except for he didn't want to communicate with her and go on a date with her. He wanted to be a creep. Now, the details are kind of confusing. Seems like he kept bumping into her at the Naples Pier, and he could have probably started a nice communication with the woman, but he wasn't trying to have a normal communication with a woman. He was trying to be a creep, and he went on to expose himself to this woman at the Naples Pier. I don't know if you've been to the Naples Pier. It's a public place. There's people, there's tourists, everybody's fishing, having a great time. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this guy decides that he's going to pull his pencil out in public. According to the incident report, the woman was the one saying hello to him. So it's like, hi, how you doing? Hi, how you doing? Like 3 times the girl was probably hitting on him, but I guess he didn't understand that you have to talk to the woman before you skipped a few steps. And of course, he was arrested for indecent exposure. This is one of those articles that I had to read several times because his behavior was so erratic that when you read it, where you're like, wait, let me just read that one more time. This is how this case went down. It almost seemed like he had a chance, but then a few of his moves were not in chronological order. Number 3 brings us to Pasco County, Florida, the headquarters of Florida Man. This is definitely a Florida man. He has Florida stamped on his forehead. Allegedly, he called the police asking for a ride. The cops were like, you need a taxi, but he insisted on the cops coming to him. Apparently, the police officers ran out of patience as he kept calling them asking for a ride. When they asked him to get a taxi, he said he didn't have any money for a taxi. But after persistently bothering the police discovered that he was holding the ganjawana. He didn't have enough money for a taxi. He did have enough money for a little bit of weed. He should have sold the weed and used that money for a taxi because now he will be spending the night in the Pasco County Jail. It would be impossible to make a top 10 list about Florida Man without having a contender from Pasco County, so let's please hear a round of applause. Number 2 brings us back to Hialeah, Florida, where a man was arrested for a stabbing regarding a mango tree. 2 men were injured in Hialeah after being stabbed in a dispute over mangoes. Yes, now, before I judge these people for what they did, I know you're not supposed to go around stabbing people over mangoes. I want to know what variety of mangoes they were fighting over, because if it was an ice cream mango or a cherry mango, I could almost understand. Apparently, they lived in a duplex type of situation where there's like more people living in a house than there should be, and then they were all like arguing about who owned the mango tree, since the mango tree, it's like, whose mango tree is it, led to a vicious attack over mangoes. I'm Cuban, and I'm just gonna say I can see how an argument over a mango could become a brutal stabbing. So if you're coming to Florida, make sure you don't steal people's mangoes, especially in Hialeah, Maine. But the number 1 prize goes to a Fort Myers man who lived out his dreams. We've all been in the Bass Pro Shop and been like, yo, what is it like to swim with the fish? A Fort Myers man known to inhabit San Carlos Park and North Fort Myers decided that he was going to go for a swim with the fish at the Fort Myers Bass Pro Shop and have his friends record it so he could be a viral online sensation. The stupidity of this man has inspired other people who have repeatedly done the thing he did to also gain online notoriety, which meant that Bass Pro Shop is at the point where they've considered getting rid of their aquarium, one of the coolest things, and this is why we can't have anything nice. A Florida Man Hall of Famer. In fact, the city of Newport Richey has considered getting a statue for him. So has the city of Hialeah. Hudson, Florida offered him the keys of the city as soon as they can find it. And a drunk guy from Lehigh Acres who drives a dump truck said that he would deliver dirt for whatever it costs at the quarry. Won't even charge this guy for delivery. He is definitely a Florida Man Hall of Famer with all the due respect that comes with this prestigious title. He is definitely the Florida Man of the Year who got to dream out and bring to reality the dreams of every man who's ever walked into a Bass Pro Shop. Is there another Florida man story that touched your heart? Share your comments. Before you run off and watch some other meaningful video on YouTube today, I want you to hit the like button, leave your comments about what you liked about this video, and also share our videos on Facebook groups. Help our channel grow. A lot of people that watch my videos are not even subscribed. We do top 10 lists. We travel all over Florida, and we make live streams that you can join and ask us anything you want to know about Florida. So if you're interested in Florida, please consider joining our channel, subscribing to our videos, and being part of our little group here. We have a lot of fun on the live streams. We make really great videos, and we try to interact as much as we can with our audience, making our channel different. So if you're not subscribed, please consider joining us.